What is up, everybody? It's your boy Doody back again with another video, and this time we're taking a look at our boy DSP's daily rap video after a day of Subway tryout, which was a disaster for our boy Phil. He had an utter meltdown like a child. And the second thing was low viewership. That's right, our boy Phil's viewerships have just been tanking. Good lord, it's not a good look for our boy Phil. Anyway, let's see what Phil had to say on this very extremely short abridged daily rap. Didn't seem like he had much to do. Maybe he had to run out and order some DoorDash McDonald's ice cream for him and Soulmate for the night snack. Anyway, let's see what Phil had to say on the daily rap.
Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Sunday, the 18th of May, 2025, my return day from having a day off. As you can see, some successful support today. There's still residual pop-ups from my late stream. Let's talk about how the day went, because it actually was a pretty darn good day. All right. So first off, on the Level 1 podcast, we talked about my history with the fast food chain Subway and how I had actually eaten at this place in its early years of the 1980s when it wasn't even called Subway. Okay. And then we chilled and we talked a little bit about the Capcom Fighting Collection 2, what I thought about it after having played it all day on Friday, and the future of my schedule, because my schedule had changed up a bit this week. There's actually going to be a couple days with no podcasts, including tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a moment. So we got insane amounts of support. No exaggeration. We hit the goal of support before the podcast ended. So because of that, we were able to focus on just Clear Obscure Expedition 33 during the stream. And it was great. Basically, at the point we were at in Clear Obscure, there was a ton of optional side content. There was a super boss that was a frozen ice style boss that was so hard to beat. It took me 50 minutes, but I got it done. But it was so frustrating because it was a grinding fight. And at the very end, he does this ultimate attack that you have to parry a zillion times. So hard, but I got it done. Then we fought another super boss that was like a bouncing super ball, and you had to parry him a zillion times to survive again. Then we went into a few optional areas. So for the first 1 to 2 hours of Clair Obscure, it was all optional content. We leveled up a ton. We got a ton of new pictos and things, great upgrades, new weapons, all kinds of great stuff. Then we continued on with the story, and we went to the Monaco station where we recruited another party member, had a few epic boss fights, and then moved into another part of the game where it was, again, more exploration and optional content. We actually did some more exploration, optional bosses, and we got to a whole new area. People, I don't know what it was called, but it's like a combination of ice and fire in the mountains. Apparently, it's a really hard optional area. People are saying it's like level 70. So I get into a fight with 3 enemies. They're tough, but I beat them. And I get like 150,000 experience. I'm like, so if I go through here and I just parry, I'll be able to win everything. I'm going to level up a ton. So next time we play, I'm going to attempt it. Okay. So overall, Clear Obscure was great. We got insane amounts of support. Did we hit 2 goals? No, but close. Then it was DSP Tries It Subway. And I tried 4 things: tuna salad, the new hot honey chicken, cold cut combo, and I was supposed to get the foot-long chocolate chip cookie. All I'm going to say, because I want you to watch this video, this was, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not kidding, the most disappointing, and one of the items was one of the most utterly disgusting things I've ever eaten on DSP Tries It in the entirety of its series. I got sick after the fact. I had a stomach ache after I filmed this DSP Tries It, just from the little that I did eat. And the item that was supposed to be the dessert footlong cookie was completely wrong. It was absolutely revolting. So if you want to see one of the biggest episodes ever of DSP Tries It, go check it out over on DSP Reacts right now. It's pretty funny how bad this food was. I can't believe it. I really think that Subway should stop selling one of those products, and they owe the public an actual apology for it. Okay?
Okay, Phil. So you claimed that the food made you sick. Well, first of all, Phil, what do you expect? It's Subway. It's fast food. It's not going to be good for you. But more than likely, what probably made you sick, Phil, was the fact that you ordered 3 fucking sandwiches, Phil. You ordered 3 sandwiches and that cookie, that foot-long cookie. Bro, I'm pretty sure that the fact that you ate those 3 sandwiches and then a sweet-ass cookie on top of it is what made you sick. Not the actual food, Phil. Why do you... the food. Why do you need to be such a pig, Phil? Why do you need to go over... just everything with this guy has to be an extreme. He's going to do a DSP Tries It. He orders 3 sandwiches. God knows how many sandwiches a cat get. How many did you order for cat, Phil? And I'm pretty sure those 3 sandwiches were probably about $60. His order alone was probably at least $60, right? And then God knows how much food the cat need. Cat probably needed 3 sandwiches herself, right? It's just ridiculous, Phil. And then you come on and try to tell people, oh, the food made you sick. Come on, bro. That's nonsense. That's a lie. And that's not the only lie Phil told. Apparently, Phil was telling during the podcast, he regaled everyone with his amazing subway story when he was a kid. Apparently, in the early 80s, him and his dad used to walk down to the original Subway store, which was actually called Pete Subway, right? And it was still called Pete Subway, according to Phil, right? According to Phil. Little problem with that story, Phil. Pete Subway hasn't been around since 1972. They changed their name to Subway back, I think, in 72 or 73. They went from Pete Subways to actually Subways. And they changed their logos. They started franchising and so on. Way before you were even born, Phil. So this nonsense of, oh, I used to go to the original one where it was still, it's a lie, Phil. It's a lie. You know, why do you need to lie about these things that are easily checkable? A quick WikiLeaks, a Wikipedia search can pull up this information, Phil. So why did you lie? Why? Because you wanted to have some amazing story to tell your dents during your podcast? Because you had nothing else to talk about? Because the rest of your fucking podcast was you talking about your stupid ass schedule? Again, Phil, this is why people don't want you to have a podcast every single day. This is why people complain that the podcast being an hour and a half long is way too long. It's way too long, but you have absolutely nothing to talk about. You regurgitate the same things. You talk about the same things. Nothing's fucking different. It's like Groundhog's Day with Phil. It's the same story every single fucking day, and he doesn't do anything to change it. So that's what happens. Lies like this creep up. He has to tell lies. He has to embellish stories. Like, yeah, maybe at one point the place that he used to go to as a kid was called Pete Subway, but it wasn't called Pete Subway when you went, Phil. Okay, it was just a regular Subway when you went in the 80s. Why do you have to embellish? It's like people that say, oh, yes, I used to go to the original Ray's Pizza, the real one. Who cares? First of all, who cares? And second, why do you have to lie about it? Why do you need to make up some story to make it sound a little bit more better, to make you sound more interesting? You don't, Phil. You don't sound more interesting. You just sound like a scumbag liar. You sound like someone who has anything interesting in their life going on, right? There's nothing going on in their life. So they need to make up these type of stories. Anyway, let's keep going.
Then tonight, it was Capcom vs. SNK 2, exclusively played in the Capcom Fighting Collection 2. Sadly, a lot of lag, a lot of teleporting, and a lot of annoyance. But at the same time, I'm getting better at the collection. I'm remembering a couple different teams and combinations that I used to use, and I'm actually having fun kind of alternating between a super serious team and a more joke team. Lots of great gameplay, lots of wins, a few losses, some really good players, one shitty pattern player, but otherwise, some pretty good gameplay, and I had a great time, and everyone really enjoyed it. Last minute, people exceeded the goal. We not only hit it, but exceeded it, because 2 people did kind of like Hail Mary last-minute contributions that made us exceed it. So we hit 2 goals today. We're at 72 out of 80. Remember, the reward is going to be DSP tries at Red Robin at hopefully the end of the week. Now, tomorrow is different, and here's why, okay? Tomorrow, there is no podcast. I'm going to repeat myself. Tomorrow, there is no podcast, okay? Tomorrow, I'm going to go start the stream around 11:15 a.m. like I usually do. I'm going to get on stream around 11:30, hang out with you guys for 10, 15 minutes tops, and once we just shoot the shit for a minute, we're going to start with Doom the Dark Ages. Why? Number one, I just don't think that it's important to have a podcast every day these days. And number two, we want to get maximum gameplay in of Doom this week so we can try to finish the game by the end of the week. So fingers crossed, we make big progress tomorrow, where I think we're starting on chapter 10 of 12. Maybe we'll beat multiple. We're going to be playing around 4 hours of gameplay, so maybe we'll beat multiple stages and stuff tomorrow. It'll be great. I hope you'll join me for it. And come by and engage and support with Doom the Dark Ages, okay? Tomorrow night on the late stream, it is Minecraft Java Edition returning. We're going to continue to build my...
Okay, Phil. Well, dude, it's about time. It's about time, seriously. You're not going to have a podcast. Yeah, it makes sense, Phil, especially when you have nothing to talk about. you really have nothing to talk about most days. It's schedule, begging, and you sprinkle in a news story from time to time. And your viewers tell you all the time, Phil, cut the podcast short, go to gameplay. All you're doing is sitting here wasting time. There's no point to a podcast, right? And I guess you finally heard, after how many years of doing this podcast, you're going on year 4 of this podcast, you finally learned that maybe, just maybe, too much of something isn't a good thing. Maybe doing a podcast for an hour and a half. And by the way, folks, he's on screen an hour and a half, but the podcast is literally about 2.5 hours long, because he starts it at 1:45. He runs his stupid PowerPoint presentation for 45 minutes. Then he decides to pop on. And the reason why he does that, he hopes people are going to drop donations during that time. That's the reason why he runs it for 45 minutes. But yeah, I mean, there's no point in having a podcast every single day, Phil. Really, seriously, there's no need. You can do one maybe 3 times a week, and that would be fine. But of course, you only do a podcast because in your brain you feel like, oh, if I don't do a podcast, then donations are going to be slow. I'm not going to get enough money, because, as Phil says, most of his donations come in during his podcast. They don't occur during the normal stream. So of course he's going to think, oh, I better do a podcast for 2.5 hours because no one's going to donate. Yeah, Phil, you can't think that way. You can't think that way, because all it does is just annoy people. When you have nothing to talk about on a podcast and you're just sitting there being boring as hell waiting for people to throw money at you, it annoys folks because you're wasting their time. If you have nothing to say, nothing entertaining to say, then what's the point of having a podcast? If you think that your gameplays are interesting, pop into gameplay and do your gameplay for 4 hours or 4.5 hours. Maybe then you won't bitch about how you don't have enough time, how you're so busy, how you can't finish up games, how you can't play new games because you still haven't finished the old games. Yes, Phil, it makes sense. If I were you, I would cancel your podcast for the entire week and just do gameplay to finish up these games so that on Friday you can play Onimusha, whatever the game is, right? But of course, Phil won't do that, because I'm pretty sure what's going to happen today is he's going to beg like crazy. He's going to complain that he didn't do a podcast, so no one gave him money. And then he's going to say, see, folks, this is proof that I have to do a podcast, and I'm going to do a podcast every single day, and anyone that tells me to short my podcast is a dunce and is going to get banned. That's what he's going to do. You can just clearly see it. And he's going to guilt trip people, and people are going to feel the need to donate, and he might hit the goal, but of course it'll be one of these late last-minute Hail Mary fake tips to get him past the goal. And yeah, it's just rinse and repeat with Phil. Nothing different in nothing different in Phil's world. Good God. This is the reason why his daily rap was only 5 minutes long. Something that typically 8 to 10 minutes long. But it's 5 minutes because he has nothing to say. He has literally nothing to say. Anyway, I have nothing more to say, so I'm going to cut this video short here. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.